Hello everybody and welcome back to RJ's Trains. And in today's video, we definitely have one of our largest unboxings ever. So let's see what's inside this box, check it out, and run it around the layout here on RJ's Trains. Make sure to use code RJTRAINS at trains.com for $10 off any order $50 or more. Well, to say I've been waiting to open up this box for a while is a bit of an understatement. I actually bought this Wednesday night right before the York train show. By the time it was finally shipped, it was after York, so I'm assuming whoever I bought this from on eBay was at the York train show. Then, thanks to some United States Postal Service delays, I didn't get this until last week, nearly 2 weeks after when I placed the order. But it's here now, so let's finally unbox it and see what's inside this massive box. Well, it's an RJ's Trains video, so you knew it wasn't going to be an orange box inside of that big cardboard box. All right, I've been teasing you enough. Let's get these cars out of the box. And here they are, all out of the box. It is a 5-pack of MTH Premier Penn Central.
Greatest railroads in history. 50 years of great railroading. The Penn Central. Penn Central, baby. You can count on us.
Stainless, streamlined passenger cars. And these things are amazing. I've actually been on the hunt for these passenger cars for close to 2 years, checking trains.com every day, checking eBay almost every day, and these cars do not come up for sale quite often. Now, you might be wondering, well, RJ, why Penn Central cars? The only 2 Penn Central locomotives you own are these 2 GP40s that we checked out in my last video. And well, there's an interesting story behind that. So let's talk about why I picked up these specific cars. So why these specific stainless steel and plain black Penn Central cars, especially since Atlas just recently came out with their own XMT Premier stainless steel cars in Penn Central in extremely colorful paint schemes. And well, I like modeling early Amtrak. Think 1971 to 1975. And by that point, Penn Central had repainted most of their passenger cars in this plain silver and black paint scheme. The ones that Atlas produced represent earlier Penn Central when they just were formed. Additionally, the 4-pack of Atlas passenger cars cost in the neighborhood of $450 for 4. So doing math, that's over $115 a car, plus the tax and shipping on top of that. Meanwhile, for the 5-pack of these cars on eBay, I paid a total of $350. That includes tax and shipping, so that comes out to about $75 a car, which I think is more reasonable. Now, I could have just picked up the 2-pack of Atlas cars and called it a day, but those all green Penn Central passenger cars that Atlas did were only ever used on New Jersey Transit commuter service in the 70s when Penn Central was still around. So they wouldn't fit in behind an Amtrak train because Amtrak never used them. So that's why I'm extremely happy to have these cars. So in the early days of Amtrak, you would often find some newly painted Amtrak streamlined passenger cars thrown into consist, and you'd still see remnants of these black Penn Central cars. In fact, if you go online and look up early images of early Amtrak trains, more often than not, you'll see 2 or 3 of these cars snuck into almost every consist. Now, the only thing left to do is let's pull out my Amtrak cars. Let's pull out my Amtrak locomotives. We've got the Penn Central Freight already down here on the lower level. And let's recreate some early Amtrak Penn Central action here today on RJ's Trains.
This is the dispatcher. Start up and hold. Over. Okay, let's get to work. Out.
everybody for tuning into today's video. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Don't worry, I am working on the video for that German steam locomotive that I gave you the glimpse at in my York video. But I did want to get these passenger cars on the way out and run them. So if I was going to do all that work, I would wanted to film the video on them. But for now, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.